Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Episode. Here I got a very fun and very exciting and very unexpected video for you guys this Friday afternoon because emoose, a developer and modder, has come out with a new patch system for OutRun 2006 on PC, bringing it into the modern era with so many quality of life improvements, so many different options that it really does feel like a brand new release of OutRun 2. And I was on a 4-day break for making YouTube videos for the holiday, and I said to everyone, unless something absolutely spectacular happened, I was not going to be making any videos. But I will tell you right now, a new version of OutRun 2 is something that gets me off the couch and back into my studio to make you guys a video, because in my opinion there is no other arcade racing game that is as good as OutRun 2. Nothing that came before, nothing that's come since has rivaled the absolute arcade fun that OutRun 2 delivers. This is Sega firing on all of their cylinders, and this game is a straight 11 out of 10. But the PC version has been long delisted from Steam, and honestly trying to get it to run on a modern platform can be an absolute chore. It is not easy to get it running on Windows 10 whatsoever or Windows 11, so these modifications and quality of life improvements bring you a better, newer, easier to use OutRun 2. Now right off the top, all you're going to do is unzip the file that you find in the description below. This is over to emoose's GitHub page, and you're just going to copy and paste those files into the OutRun 2 folder wherever you have the OutRun 2 executable. Your system's going to ask you if you want to overwrite those files, and just go ahead and say yes, because the replacement executable is going to be a lot more efficient running the game on PC. You're going to have a lot better odds of actually getting it to boot, and if you run into any issues whatsoever, just go ahead and run the new OutRun 2 executable as administrator on Windows. You should have luck with that if you're having any other issues. And if you can't tell already, all of the heads-up display is adhering to the aspect ratio. We don't have any pop-in on any of the vehicles or those level of detail issues here, and that is because the modification comes with a brand new INI file where you can change basically all of the different visual options for the game within that INI. I am playing this and capturing it as the default, and honestly, unless you want to get deep into the settings, I recommend just playing OutRun 2006 with the default INI settings from the modification. You're going to have an absolutely incredible time. The only other thing you need to do is go into the original OutRun INI file within the OutRun folder. This is where it's going to have the screen resolution. By default, it's set to 640 by 480, which is going to be standard definition 4:3 aspect ratio. I just switched this over to 1920 by 1080 and saved that file. And now I have super sharp, high definition 16:9 footage with some of the best graphics you're ever going to get out of OutRun 2006. And that is all down to the modifications in that new INI file, fixing so many of the issues with the game. But there's so many other things that you're going to get as well. I am playing this with an Xbox Series X controller, and the vibration and the overall rumble has been fixed up and improved in this version. When you're driving over cobblestones, that vibration motor is going to rumble, and you're really going to feel the texture of the road. You can play this with a wheel, you can play it with your keyboard, you can play it with an Xbox controller. It basically modernizes so much of that rumble and control system that it's going to be easy to pick up and play however you want to play it. But trust me, honestly, you definitely don't want to use a keyboard for this game unless you have no other options. And this is just outstanding. OutRun 2006 is just OutRun 2 and OutRun 2 SP, repackaged for PCs, giving you the full game experience back in the day. But for the longest time, like I said, getting this game to run has been difficult, and it's been delisted from Steam for a very long time. Sure, you can still pick up the actual game on disc on eBay used, but trying to get it to run on a period PC can be an exercise in futility. It's going to crash, it's going to not launch, it's going to give you a bunch of issues down to the DRM that was originally packaged within the game. And honestly, it's going to be so frustrating, you're probably going to give up. And now with this new modernized version of OutRun 2006, all you need to do is change the resolution in the INI and go ahead and double click the executable, and you're playing, in my opinion, again, the best arcade racing game ever made, like it is a modern release that just came out on Steam. And the sounds amazing in its uncompressed format with the INI. Listen, I'll be right back with more gameplay and details. One of the best racing games of all time, married to one of the best soundtracks of all time, and it sounds absolutely incredible coming out of this new version of OutRun 2006. Now, going through the INI file, I'm just going to talk about a couple of the settings that you can articulate in case you do want to change them around. You can change this in Notepad. All you do is change a value and hit save, so it is very easy to play around and try to figure out what you want. The first thing is going to be a frame limiter. It's going to limit the game to 60 frames per second, but now you can adjust that and have the internal tick rate still stay at 60, so you can get more frames out of the game, but it shouldn't speed up the actual gameplay in and of itself, because sometimes in previous versions of this game, if you tried to get more frames out, the game would definitely run a little bit faster. There's also going to be an efficient mode and an accurate mode. By default, it's on efficient, and that should work for 99% of people. But if you have any issues in the game, things aren't working correctly, you can go ahead and change it over to accurate mode, and that should resolve it. But honestly, I haven't really seen any issues in that default whatsoever. You can also adjust VSync settings, whether you want them on or off, as well as the graphics and the UI for the heads-up display. By default, it's going to fix the UI for the screen ratio, so if you have something like 16:9, you're going to get that. But if you do want to play this game on a 4:3 monitor, and trust me, plenty of people, including myself, have VGA monitors that we do this stuff on, you can set the UI back to 4:3 so you can get that classic CRT look. And trust me, if you've never experienced OutRun 2006 or OutRun 2 on a CRT monitor, this game just absolutely looks incredible, because this game just has that vibe going on, those classic Sega colors that come across so well on a CRT. So you can change the UI and heads-up display elements and where they are spaced within the screen depending on what you do in that INI file. Additionally, it's going to disable all of the level of detail for all of the cars, and because you are on a more modern system this game would have shipped on, I highly recommend leaving that as is. You're also going to get the ability to load in uncompressed WAV files as well, giving you some higher quality audio. And honestly, the main takeaway of this new quote-unquote version of OutRun 2006 is the fact that it just makes it that much easier to play on modern systems, because even if you have the Steam version installed, even if you pick up a DVD of this game on the secondhand market, actually trying to get OutRun 2006 to run on your PC can be an absolute pain in the butt, and then trying to actually get it to look good and control well is another chore on top of that, which is absolutely unfortunate. Because for a game that I highly consider to be the best arcade racing game of all time, it should be infinitely playable easily on any sort of modern system, because this did get a PC release, but of course it's been delisted from Steam, probably because of the Ferrari licensing, and again, Windows has definitely marched on in time from when this game came out. So this is just absolutely outstanding. It really does feel like getting a new version of OutRun 2006. And again, if somehow you've never played this game before, now is the time. And don't be confused by the naming conventions. OutRun 2, OutRun 2 SP, OutRun 2006 Coast to Coast are all different versions of the same game. And OutRun 2006 Coast to Coast is going to have all of those different modes and tracks within them. And this is why fans doing these patches are so absolutely important. This is the type of game that should be able to be played by anyone anytime they want. It is just something that is such a special game, such an incredible experience, and such a perfect arcade racing game that the fact that this was difficult to play on PCs for the longest time absolutely drove everyone mad, especially Sega fans. And the great part is, if you just download a zip file and change 3 files in your OutRun 2006 installation directory and make a few modifications to the INI file, you're going to be playing OutRun 2006 on a Windows 10 or Windows 11 PC with no issues whatsoever. Just remember, you do need to change the resolution in the base OutRun 2006 INI file, and for the most part I would leave the tweaks INI as is because it does the greatest job. But honestly, this is something that got me off my holiday and into my studio because it was worth it. Sure, that we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.